Today we're going to be checking out a pickup I probably spent too much money on, the Tony Iommi signature Gibson pickup. So I think this is probably the experience a lot of guitar players had, especially those into Tony Iommi. We looked at our phones, we saw, hey, Tony Iommi posted that his signature pickup that he had back in his guitars and that came out back in the 90s is going to be reissued and you can buy it again. Let me click on that. $230. Now, I wouldn't have even bought this pickup had I not actually just sold some other pickups and had some money in from that, and also been a huge Tony Iommi fan. And also, about a month ago, I was all set for a deal to buy a Gibson SG Tony Iommi signature from like 2001. It was gorgeous. It was about almost 2 hours north of me, and I drove all the way up there, and the dude ended up ghosting me, and I wasted, all in all, about 5 hours of my day, a ton of gas money, and got screwed out of that guitar. But I'd always wanted that guitar because I remember being a kid when I first started playing guitar and there being one in a Guitar Center. And of course, the first metal band I really got into was Black Sabbath, so it just felt like this serendipitous moment, and then it was taken from me. So the ability to have his pickup, especially in my War Pig guitar, which is, for anyone not aware, it's a custom guitar I made with a mahogany Warmoth body that's very much their kind of like SG kind of vibe, and then it has an Illuminati aluminum neck on it, and that's what I use for like all of my Doom stuff on this channel and a lot of the lower tune stuff and stuff to demo fuzz pedals and stuff. So it just seemed right, and I bought it thinking like I was going to do this whole video like going like, oh my god, I can't believe how overpriced it is, which I can't. And the Gibson's crazy, charging $230 for a pickup, which they are. And it sucks that I ended up having to give them that money, you know, pay Gibson too much money for the name that's on it. But when I got the pickup and put it in the guitar, what I wasn't expecting is to fall in love with it. I installed it, I played a few chords with it, and it just felt really good. It felt easy to play, good under my fingers. I tried it on a bunch of different amplifiers with some boost pedals, without some boost pedals, and on some of my different fuzz pedals, and it sounded great on all of them, which is not an easy task, especially for the fuzz pedals. A lot of fuzz pedals can be temperamental and not like certain things, especially certain higher output pickups. They can get harsh or overly fat and bloated or overloaded, and this just sounds victorious and huge with everything that I tried it on. It still stays clear under tons of gain, even when I'm gain stacking. It's aggressive, but not like overly harsh. There's not like a ton of like clicky pick attack or anything like that, but it's definitely, like I said, just aggressive and will push whatever you put the guitar into. I just really fell in love with the pickup. It's so awesome. Something that's weird with this pickup is the set is just two of the same pickups. So the neck is exactly the same as the bridge, but in the neck position. And I'm honestly interested in trying it there too. And I kind of wouldn't mind putting it in there. It would also fit the vibe of the guitar with these two chrome shiny pickups and the aluminum neck. But I was so smitten with it in the bridge. I may end up in the future try it in the neck. We'll see. So a bit on the pickup and its features, it's definitely a little bit left of center. It was the first signature, like artist signature pickup that Gibson made, and it came out in the 90s. And I think they did something really, really cool. It wasn't just like some winding and a magnet. It's actually a magnet blend. It has a ceramic and it has an Alnico 2. And the ceramic, of course, is definitely no stranger to metal pickups and metal players. Typically, those are going to be a bit more compressed and have higher output and be a bit more cutting. And then Alnico 2 isn't something I have a ton more experience with, but it's something you're going to find on more lower output, older style pickups, and they're very dynamic and very, very clear. And I think that's why this thing works so well at driving and having high output, but also still remaining clear with big chords, even under tons of distortion and fuzz and gain stacking. What was kind of interesting is when I got the pickup originally and took it out, underneath the pickup, now normally with the humbucker, you'll see like the metal base plate, and then on top of that is a magnet, and then the bobbins and everything, it's all taped up and wired, and the pull pieces and the copper that goes around it. But this one actually below the base plate, it looks like one of the magnets that's stacked there. It's like either going through or underneath or something like that. It was kind of interesting to see, and I don't think I've seen another pickup like that, at least personally, not the ones that I have experience with. So that was definitely a bit interesting. It's definitely pretty chunky too. It's a weighty pickup. It's one of the heavier pickups that I have. This also has a 16K resistance, which doesn't necessarily tell you how hot the pickup is or not, but typically if you're looking at like a PAF or a lower output pickup, it's going to have a much lower resistance. So worth noting, but this thing is definitely pretty hot. Not like insanely over the top, searingly hot. It's not like a Slug or one of these other like crazy hot modern pickups that you can get, but it's still a pretty hot pickup. So I was gushing about how good this thing sounds on a bunch of different amps and setups and pedals and stuff like that. So I wanted you guys to actually get an idea of what I was talking about. So for the in mix, I had this going into the vintage channel of my Prometheus, and then we're gonna hear that outside of a mix, same setup. I'll actually even hit that with the plumes overdrive at one point, just so you can hear like gain stacking on gain into already high gain, and it's just this massive sound that never really gets harsh, and you can still clearly hear chords with everything. And then I'm actually going to switch over to my Friedman BE50 Deluxe, and we'll try the clean channel, and then we'll try the BE channel, and then we'll try the HBE channel. So clean, gain, even more gain. And then also I wanted to look into how this sounds with a fuzz for you. So on the clean channel of that, at one point I will switch on my big fuzz from Frost Giant, and you'll hear that going into it as well, and hear how good it sounds with all of that. Figured the best way to kind of just show off this thing was to show it in a bunch of different contexts and to really give you guys an idea of why I was liking it so much. And then of course all of those amplifiers and setups are going to be going into my Amp Central Evo from Red 7, which does have a blend of my DV77 and VM1265 IR. It's mostly the DV77, and I do have a Dropbox link down below if you want to check that out. It's free. But anyway, let's check it out and just hear different rigs and stuff with this pickup. So this pickup is definitely living in this guitar for the foreseeable future. It is my favorite pickup that I've put in this guitar, which again is fitting with it being the War Pig and my Doom guitar. This is going to be on a bunch of cool demos in future. I may get the pickup to put in the neck. We'll see. This is also going to be the pickup for my Phantom Wizard Doom project going forward, which because of this channel and my day job, that and my death metal project constantly are getting backburnered, but I have music for that and it's slowly coming together, and this is now going to be the pickup in the guitar that's going to be for that. Would love to know your thoughts and opinions down below. Leave those comments here for me if you have a guitar with these pickups, either the Epiphone or one of his signature guitars, or if you just picked up some of these pickups in the past. Like I said, it's still definitely way overpriced for what it is, and I think Gibson's crazy with this, but that being said, I'm happy I own it. It's so good. Like, it's so good. I was actually kind of pissed that I loved it as much as I did with how expensive it was, because I was fully ready to just hate on Gibson for it, but I'm like, it's still overpriced, but it's really good. It's really good. Like I said, I'm just in love with it, and thanks for watching, guys. Stay metal.